In times of uncertainty, the best thing to do is often counteract what the populace is doing. You see, the populace in times of uncertainty is going to be filled with angst, anxiety, and looking for the first bit of relief. The problem is the first bit of relief is never going to be the best answer. Delayed gratification is a very important skill, and there's a reason for that. People think when good times are good, you delay the good for when the bad times come, you have something on a rainy day. But it's actually much more nuanced than that. And it's really during a bad time, do you take the first sign of shelter? Yeah, most people do. And the problem is, this will always lead you to taking the lowest possible form of refuge. And you feel as though once you take the refuge that you will upgrade from there. You take the job that pays you less. You move somewhere less affluent in order to afford to live. All these things, but the reality is once you get comfortable, that motivation to, be better, improve yourself and, take something more get zapped from you. You get so used to this lower level, and because of the comfortability, it's actually not that bad. Then the next time of uncertainty comes, and what do? You take another downgrade. You settle for another lower paying job. You keep doing this cycle, and then all of a sudden you're 50 years old, and you wonder, how come you went from making 50 grand a year to only 75? Meanwhile, you see people who maybe even went to the same college as you going all the way from 50 to 100, 200, 300. Some are multimillionaires. Is it really that they just got lucky? Is it because their family was rich? While these things might be true, the other option is that they just were willing to hold out in uncertainty for something more, for something better, and they were willing to take that time to be better, to improve, and for them to be more valuable on the other side, which is compounding. While you stagnated through taking the first sign of shelter, the other person compounded, multiplied their value every single time life got hard. People think saving during the good time is going to make the hard times any better, and the reality is it doesn't. Also, it's once again just another way to be mediocre. I mean, saving, you're kneecapping the good in order to make the bad less. You're just saying, I want to live at an average, a complete dead still average. And this is where the comfortability is once again. And then people wonder why they end up average. If you see the average retirement portfolio is $250,000 and you need $1 million, don't you think everybody with $250,000 is averaging out? What is saving good to make the worst better? Really, literally averaging. It's the most you know, unnecessary convoluted definition of average. And it's sold under safety. The problem is when you need the money truly is going to be when you compounded your entire life and no longer can work. So if you didn't compound your entire life and you instead took safety for your entire life, now when you truly cannot handle the difficulties of life, you will have what is left, which you already traded most of which for, just so you can feel comfortable during a time where you are the most physically and mentally capable. Is even more ironic. It is a very complex topic. People typically thrive during safety as well. The problem is this thriving is more of an illusion, right? You feel comfortable, you got a new apartment, so you start reading books. Great, but are you reading the books that are going to make you better? You're reading, the Harry Potter series, right? Because the types of actions you do while might be similar during a good time and during the bad time, you will be forced and you feel this internal to do things that will get you out. So now you might have read the Harry Potter series during the good times. So now you're reading more philosophy, money management, whatever it might be, getting a skill, getting a certificate instead. Same reading, different reason. Once again, the reason is what's going to cause the change. So if you're reading a Harry Potter series, you're only doing that for comfortability. But if you're reading money management books or whatever it may be, or getting a certificate, we all know where that leads. We don't have to like the output is obvious here. So you might be working out, during your comfortability, but you might be really working out in order to, physically be ready during a time of instability. These same actions, while they feel the same, the output is completely different. A lot of people need to take the uncomfortability of life and accept that this is good. This is where I can be better. This is where I can prove who I really am, who I really am capable of. And this is where you get rewarded. And it's never going to feel fair until you get the payout. And it's always going to be bigger than you think. The problem is there's never going to be a timeline. You're never going to know when you're going to get the payout. You might have to read 1,000 books. Maybe you need 50 certificates. Maybe you need to run 50 miles. All these different things. People assume, oh my goodness, I worked so hard for 6 months. Oh my goodness, I worked so hard for a year. You're gonna live for 100 years if you're in Gen Z. You really think working for 6 months of that really hard should differentiate you from the other, cohorts of your generation? Unfortunately, 6 months, a year, these timelines are no longer very long at all. Maybe when people only live till 50. But now with people living twice that, uncomfortably, you should be able to work in, uncomfortable periods of time for much longer, especially with the other infrastructure around, um, to make things a little bit more comfortable. Uh, I think a lot of people should take it in stride with what this uh, current instability is bringing, and that it's not a big deal if you take yourself serious and you want to be different. And this is also a time to prove you're different. Everybody's panicking, everybody's doom scrolling, everybody's sitting, and yet you want to do the same. It's easy to be different when it's to get a different hair color. It's easy to be different when it's to paint your nails. It's hard to be different when the world sucks and you decide to be the one to face it head on while everybody else is sitting back. That's real different. That's when it sucks. I mean, even this video will probably get hate because it's motivational. It's telling you a large percent of the population that sitting back isn't the right answer. Probably get hate on that. That's different. So when you're there doom scrolling and you're thinking, oh man, the world is so fucked, just remember everybody had that at one point, and yet they live different lives. So the common factor of a hard period of time does not determine whether or not someone is successful or someone is a loser. It's what they did during that time. That's all I have for this topic, and thank you for watching.